Hey, I'm Ramon Ray with Small Business Trends, and we're at Influencer Marketing Days in the heart of New York City. And I'm joined by Neil and Marco with Assembly. Thanks for talking to us today.
Thanks for having us, Ramon.
Absolutely. So, what is Assembly and why is it so important? Why are you guys here today at Influencer Marketing Days? What's Assembly?
Yeah, so Assembly is a platform that both brands and agencies alike can use to run their entire influencer marketing program. So we're seeing a big trend of brands kind of doing it themselves. So it's a self-serve platform where you can onboard your own influencers that you already have the phenomenal relationships with, and through our platform, create campaigns, push those campaigns live, manage them once they're live, monitor the results, and every KPI that's important to influencer marketers can be delivered in our app, reported upon, and then sent back to whoever it's important to. So to quickly summarize, things like clicks, conversions, ROI, engagements, the views on each post, and really learn what worked, what didn't, and make decisions in the future accordingly.
Neil, that sounds like about everything you guys do at Assembly for the influencer campaign.
Our tagline actually is your entire influencer marketing program under one roof. So, yeah.
Let's talk about the pain points. I'm curious, those who are not using influencer marketing platforms, what are they doing? I mean, what's their world like? Not just your product, but those who are not using services like this. What is their world like? What are they doing?
Yeah, so people are using UTM links and Google Analytics. They're using a ton of spreadsheets. They're communicating across, 5 different social platforms. So it's a real variety of different things that they're doing, but it's messy and it's not uniform in one place. So other things I didn't mention, even payments and all communication can occur through the Assembly app as well. Yeah, so it's kind of all over the place in terms of what's happening now.
Got it. And Marco, let's talk about the company itself. Neil has mentioned it a bit, but you guys your lineage is one of the fastest growing Canadian companies, I understand. Talk about that a bit.
Yeah, in 2016 we were named the 5th fastest growing company in Canada. I think it was a little bit over 8,000% in growth over about a 5-year period. And so I think scale and growth is kind of the core of, so Redbrick is the parent company. We're a team of about 45, majority in engineering as well as in the performance side. Is that we look at it too is when we started running influencer campaigns is how do you scale this? We have 5 media buyers in house that buy on Google. We're partnered with Facebook. We're partnered with Bing, and we're buying media all the time. How do you do that without within the influencer space being able to scale that? So if you're working with 2 or 3 people, well, how do you scale that across 100 people? And is there technology to be able to do that? And does it then give you the answers and the data to be able to do that in a meaningful type of way? And so we've always looked at kind of technology as kind of the core of what we do, and that core and that data allows us to make answers and be able to be effectively buy marketing in an effective way. So I think that's essentially why we looked at Assembly as, well, this is what we need to build for ourselves when we couldn't kind of find that solution out there in the marketplace. So.
Any tips and thoughts? I mean, some of them you already gave, analytics and scaling. Any thoughts for other companies in general who are trying to grow? We're all trying to grow fast. Some people want to grow smarter, and you don't want to, go out of business because you're growing too fast. Yeah. Any tips from you, Marco, and yourself, Neil? I'll go to you first, Marco, just on how do you scale? How do you grow a software company, especially in 2017, 2018? How do we do that?
Yeah, I think that you need to plant the roots. We actually, people was probably the smartest decision. We hired ahead. Consistently always hired ahead. I would be sometimes worried about that person starting that next week because I was like, I don't know what they're actually going to be doing. But then in 2 or 3 months, they were swamped and they were busy. So we always looked at people, always hired the right type of people, always consistently bringing them in. And so we hired ahead. That was big. The next thing was always investing in technology. It's always easier to sell a solution that's technology first, and it just gave the answers because it worked. And I think that just if you focus on that core, it makes it a lot easier to be able to scale. And so we focused on always investing, always testing, and then always using that data. So whenever we do things, we test, and always invest. So we just kept doing that, and we were able to kind of scale at a consistent pace, and well, not really consistent. It grew quite fast, but that
consistent growth.
Yeah, that was kind of our core piece. So yeah.
And Neil, one more thing for you. You work with a lot of brands who want to have their products expanded and scaled and known more about. Any tips and advice for them? Talk to these larger brands who are like, you know what, we're trying to work with influencers, the market's saturated, we don't know what to do. What are you seeing? Because you do this day in and day out with Marco. What are you telling the brands? What are you seeing that works best?
Yeah, so something that has come up a lot throughout the conference is really starting to look within customers that are already using your products, and working with expert reviews and ambassadors that are already speaking fondly about your brand. And from our perspective, Assembly comes in, like I said, when you already have those authentic relationships. So I think a big option for brands these days are to look within, see who's already an ambassador for your product, and really activate that relationship, because it might be as simple as a small flat fee payment plus some free swag, or not even that if somebody's already an advocate for your brand that you're not even aware of. So I think look within to start your influencer program is some good advice to look into.
Love it, love it. Anything else to add on that, Marco?
I would say it's interesting talking to a lot of people here in this conference is around we have media buyers that focus on their on Facebook buys or Google, and we'll spend a lot of money, losing money a lot of times too, and consistently testing and trying to make it work. And when I talk to people, it's if they ran one campaign or two campaigns and it didn't work, and that to me is, you have to spend a lot of time, and you have to test, and you have to test, and you have to have people dedicated. And so what I want to see, I want to start seeing companies have more and more people dedicated to just managing influencer relationships. And I've seen a few brands here, and the ones that have been most successful in the talks that seem that way are the ones that have a team focusing on influencer marketing. That's all they're doing, and it's the same reason we have people focused on buying on Google or buying on Facebook or doing your content. It has to be the same way, and they have to treat it as another piece of their media strategy. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing that I consistently see companies not doing, and that I would leverage right away.
Awesome. So Neil, what's the name of your website, or how you want people to get in contact with Assembly?
Yeah, so useassembly.com is where you can find us, and we're all over social media, as we should be as well. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So again, this is Neil and Marco with Assembly at useassembly.com.
Correct.
And my name is Ramon Ray in Midtown New York City at Influencer Marketing Days with Small Business Trends.